I'm Michelle Garnaut. Well, we have had a restaurant on the Bund, which is quite well known. We opened in the beginning of 1999 and sadly we're about to close, which is what we're going to talk about. I've been living in Asia since 1984. I love Shanghai from the first time I came in 1985. And in about the mid-90s, I came with Bruno, who was our restaurant manager in Hong Kong. He'd never been to Shanghai and he said, oh, we should open a restaurant. And I remember we were standing on the corner of Yan'anlu and the Bund. There was or Jinglinglu maybe, there was like a walkway, like a round walkway. And I remember standing on that with Bruno, looking down along the Bund, and he said, oh, we should open a restaurant in Shanghai. And I said, wow, you're crazy. What a ridiculous idea. A real estate woman who I'd met at the Peace Hotel, and she called me and she said, I have found the perfect space for you and it's on the Bund. And I said, but Alice, nobody goes to the Bund. We know that nobody goes to the Bund, really only sort of provincial tourists, and they are not my clients, you know what I mean? And at that point, this was the beginning of 1998. There was no lift to the 7th floor because the 7th floor was like an addition, part of the roof really. There was one tiny door and there was one dirty little window, and so I opened this tiny door. It was really so small I had to like go like this to get under it, and then I went outside, and then of course the whole of Shanghai was in front of your feet, and it was like wow, this is sort of incredible. We had a big job to do because we had to renovate, we had to upgrade the loading of the building to put this floor, to add all of the weight. Maybe 4, 5, 6 had to be structurally upgraded to hold the weight of this building. And this was a very big part of our budget to begin with. There was no gas in the building, and this floor, at that time, this floor had no electricity, no water. It's a really big kitchen. It is a big kitchen. If I think back now, there are so many funny stories. I think one of them was that nobody made reservations. So people would not believe me when I said, no, we don't have tables. They'd say, but that table's empty. I'd say, we just can't manage it. We have not got the capacity to manage it. It was about 2 months. All this equipment that we had, like 5 ovens and things, was all stuck at the border of Hong Kong, Shenzhen. So we had 1 oven with 4 burners. So of course we couldn't fit, you know, we could only do 50 people a night if we were lucky. And we also, I mean, I knew from the beginning if we tried to do too much and we tried to fit in too many people, we tried to do things that we couldn't do, it would fail. We had to do it to the best of our ability. The way that people from different cultures behave in restaurants is quite interesting. You know, the type of people who complain, but still they come back, but they always complain. And then there's other people who, they never complain, they don't say anything, but they just would never come back if they weren't happy. And that's not a good thing for a restaurant, because actually, if people are not happy, you need to know that. Because very often they're right, they're justified. The food was not dinner, it was cold, or something was wrong. I think for this, maybe just for this time in Shanghai's history, big Western restaurant, it's not what's needed. It's not what the clientele, it's not what the consumers want, a big Western restaurant. It's better than, rather than take on more losses, I would rather close with our pride and our dignity and our history, and I would rather give that money to the staff than deal with just paying more money to a landlord that, you know, really we can't afford. I'm sad, of course, that we're closing, but I'm also think it's fine. It's time. We've had our time. It's been a fantastic 22 years, nearly 23. It's just been remarkable. And I would not change 1 minute of it. Maybe I would rather we didn't have COVID, but I wouldn't really change 1 minute of it. So, I think it's time for some new things.